What's up, everyone? I want to give you a quick update on everything going on in Syria. I didn't want to make another response video to President Trump's actions firing 59 tomahawk missiles at a Syrian air base right away, because I wanted to wait for more facts to emerge. I feel partially that I did that because the other day I made a video referring to the sarin gas attacks against what would end up to be 80 civilians that died. There may be more, but out of those 80, 50 were women, 30 were children, or men and women, and then 30 were children. Now, Assad, he has been vehemently denying all claims that he possesses or used chemical weapons. So shortly after this gas attack occurred, they were taking the injured to the local hospitals. There were only 2 in this very remote town of Idlib, Syria. Now, there is, like I said, an airstrike taken out on it. So here's where I'm starting to believe that it may not have been Syria that did this. But I am not dispelling the fact that it could be them because, like I said, I don't know. I'm not qualified to say one way or another definitively what happened and who did it. But Bashar al-Assad, he is winning this Syrian civil war. It's still a clusterfuck over there, but he is gaining control, especially with the support of Russians. So there's a pipeline. Actually, 2 proposed pipelines that would both go through Syria. One would go to benefit the U.S., the other to Russia. And the reason why this is important should be obvious, because we all know war is about money and resources. That's what wars have always been about. It's people needing resources, in our case, being greedy and trying to rob the poorest countries on earth for their minerals and precious metals, even though we give them next to nothing, then fund countries like Saudi Arabia to go and bomb them, like in Yemen. So children lost their parents in that attack, fathers and mothers lost their children, entire families were killed. It was just all around terrible. Now, I want to give you an update on what's happened since then. So 59 Tomahawk cruise missiles were sent from a U.S. Navy destroyer ship off the coast of the, was it the Mediterranean? I could be wrong about the sea they launched it from, but they launched it, used very hard missiles to detect, especially with the best radar equipment, because they fly so low and they are basically flying at the horizon, so you're not going to be able to see them coming unless you have advanced equipment nearby that's ready to shoot down a missile. And missile defense systems are developed but not able to take out 59 cruise missiles, or 59 cruise missiles. And we immediately saw Trump flip-flop, just like he has done with everything else. He's flip-flopped from one thing to another, whether it be from healthcare, which he was supporting back in the 90s, to Hillary Clinton, who he was supporting back in the 90s. Oh yeah, did I mention that he supported healthcare for every American, even if the government pays for it this year? Or, I'm sorry, last year during the presidential race? He has lied to every single American, and he is lying us into a war. Whether he believes that those innocent children were deserving of retaliation for their murders, we just killed 200 innocent civilians in a Mosul airstrike just a few weeks ago. So who the fuck are we to go in there and then bomb Assad, who is the only secular dictator left that we haven't taken the fuck out. Or president. Dictator president, you know, the media has been calling him a dictator lately, even though they used to call him President Bashar al-Assad, funny enough. But I'm not here to defend him because this guy's done atrocious things. What I'm here to defend is the lives of people in the Middle East, because these women and children are pawns in their game. They're going to keep dying. They don't have a choice because countries like ours won't even accept them when they're trying to flee. So, are you going to be willing to take in these little babies now, Trump? These beautiful little babies and children and innocent men and women that are killed in events like this in Syria? Are you willing to take them into the United States, even though they're Muslim, and even though they may not have the time to be vetted before they can get over here and establish some sort of immunity or asylum seeking? Here's another quick angle to this story. In 2013, I may have mentioned this earlier, over 100 people were killed in a very similar sarin gas attack in Syria. The UN meets with the EU the same day as this attack occurs. I mentioned that in my last video. But the timing is just so very odd to me, and I'm not putting on my tinfoil hat necessarily just yet, but I might be in a little bit, because this was obviously a PR stunt by the mainstream news media and the neocons that appear on the shows, the defense contractors they hire to spit lies into the American people and propaganda. You know, even the video that they shot of the missile was done so in a way so when the missile flies up, you see the American flag. And then Brian Williams calls it fucking beautiful. Yeah, you know what? Fireworks are beautiful. I guess a missile launching into the sky, if it was an exercise, you could in some way say that's beautiful, even though it's going to kill some fish and sharks or wildlife or of some sort. But you killed 6 people in this attack on these Air Force bases. I know it was an attack to take out their infrastructure, but these were Syrian army members. So you just not only flip-flopped on Syria in 3 days, way to go, buddy. You killed innocent civilians, Donald Trump. This is not our war to be fighting. Let me say that a million more times, and I probably will. We can't solve all their problems, and the only way that I can say I have a clue what I'm talking about is because look at the past. History tends to, you know, there's the phrase, history tends to repeat itself. It's very true, and it's why we need to study history. And we don't even need to study much, because a lot of us can remember it when we invaded Iraq in 2001. And Afghanistan after that. Now we're in Yemen, Somalia, Syria. I feel like I'm leaving one out. Oh, Sudan. So let's just understand that this is not an altruistic fight. This is a military-industrial complex move. Don't be fooled by this propaganda you're seeing on mainstream media. Turn off your goddamn TVs and read some news articles online from trusted sources. Sources you may not agree with. Read both sides of the argument and come up with your own conclusion at the very least. Because they are leading us into a war that they want. They are willing, and we know this from history, that they will be more than happy to send your men, women, and children, because we have women that can fight in combat roles. We have children who are, 18, or, well, I'm sorry, I guess they're not children fighting for our wars. That was stupid to say. But men and women fighting overseas, and we're going to lose American soldiers and American lives. Do you want to... Because of Donald Trump, there could very well be an American soldier coming back with a flag draped over his coffin. And not just one. We've already sent 1,000 troops since Trump got elected. Then he decided to send another 1,000 troops on the ground, who only started off as military advisors. We need to keep our eyes open and realize that this is nothing more than a neo-conservative propaganda war hawk move to make money, steal oil, and keep destroying these poor innocent people who have nothing to do with radical Islam, ISIS. They just want to provide for themselves and their families. So to Donald Trump, I don't even know what to say, because you change your mind so much. It's impossible to even predict what you could do. And if you kill any of our hardworking men and women who signed up for the service to protect and defend our freedoms, not the freedoms of other countries, we're not the world police. You may like to think that we need to show authority. Well, how about you start showing some authority where there's plenty of war crimes going on. In Israel, we have them bombing the shit out of Palestinians because they are expanding their territory into the Palestinian territory, which is almost non-existent anymore. And I'm not saying I'm anti-Israel, but they most likely have something to do with this as well. So, like I said, keep your eyes open, stay vigilant, and don't listen to the corporate media lies, because that's all they are. If you see a general, a national war correspondent, a liar like Bill O'Reilly, Sean Hannity, Brian Williams, who said that the missiles going off were just beautiful. Don't let these people fool you into going into another war. Don't let them fool you into losing your sons and daughters in a war, or your parents. A war we have no fucking business in. And that's what I have to say about this. Thank you guys. See you next time. Hey, what's up? Thank you for watching The Primo Show. If you like what I do, leave a comment below, subscribe, like the video, or go away. I never want to see you again. Just kidding. Come back and watch my stuff.